What's good, Steeler Nation? My name is Jack Sperry, and this is Steelers Talk. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit going into the future today. We're going to be doing 8 players that I think the Steelers should consider cutting in the 2023 NFL offseason. But before we get into my list, consider subscribing to Steelers Talk by Chat Sports right now. We have a great community of Yinzers that love talking about the black and gold, passionate about the Steelers. We have daily and free premium Steelers news and rumors content here on the channel. We got a bunch of draft stuff coming out, bunch of free agency stuff coming out, bunch of stuff like this every single day here on the channel. So consider subscribing today if that's your sort of thing. All right, now, before we get into my list here, this is what the Steelers are dealing with going into this offseason. They have about $14.2 million to spend in available cap space right now, which isn't all that much. That's one of the lowest figures in the National Football League right now. So I'm looking for potential cut candidates here for the Steelers to raise that number so they can spend some money on some nice free agents here in the offseason. Number 1 on my list, Chukwuma Okorafor, the right tackle. He's been here for a little while. He's not cutting it, guys. He's just not. Now, he does have quite a bit of a dead cap penalty, right? $6 million in dead cap is not trivial, but he can't, if we cut him, it is a $7 million savings hit for the Steelers here, which means that the Steelers get $7 more million to spend on other free agents. Right now, he is not cutting it. 57th offensive tackle graded by Pro Football Focus in the National Football League this year, and the Steelers are likely going to be looking to replace at least one of these starting tackles in the NFL offseason, whether it be through the draft or whether it be through free agency, like getting a guy like Isaiah Wynn. I think Chukwuma Okorafor is going to be the guy that gets taken out here because Dan Moore Jr. is still on his rookie deal, so I think that they're going to take the cap savings here and let Okorafor loose. Number 2 on my list is a bit of a controversial pick here. Myles Jack, the inside linebacker that the Steelers just signed this past offseason, and he's technically the inside linebacker 1 on this Steelers roster. He's somebody that has just not performed up to what the Steelers were trying to get out of him this year. He just hasn't, guys. 66 graded inside linebacker according to Pro Football Focus. That's lower than Devin Bush. For all those people that think Devin Bush stinks, Myles Jack is grading worse than him this year. So right now, it is $3.25 million in a dead cap penalty if you decide to cut him, but you get $8 million in cap savings if you let him go. And, with a 53.7 grade, he's not really making that big of an impact on the Steelers defense right now. Is he really worth the $11.25 million that he is set to make for the Steelers next season? I'm just not sure if he is, but I think the Steelers should keep Myles Jack if they can. He's an experienced veteran. He's done a lot of good things in this league, and although $11.25 million is a lot to pay for a guy that's just not producing this season, I think the Steelers are going to be bringing in a lot of young inside linebacker prospects next year, whether it be through the draft or free agency. And I think Myles Jack, he's somebody that's been in this defense. He knows how it operates, right? He spent a season here. I think that he's somebody with Devin Bush and a bunch of other inside linebackers for the Steelers hitting free agency. Myles Jack could be that veteran presence in the Steelers inside linebacker room. So I don't think that they should let him go, but I don't think they should be afraid to let him go either, right? If you need that $8 million to go get an Isaiah Wynn, right, or some other big name free agent, and you need that $8 million in extra cap space, I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers let him go. I think that if they do let him go, it's probably going to be somewhere towards like April, somewhere closer to the draft, somewhere, in that kind of range, because I don't think they're going to want to get rid of him initially, but I think they will if they have to. Let me know in the comments section right now, should the Steelers cut Myles Jack this offseason? Type C if you think they should cut him, or type K for keep. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So whenever you get an ad break, just go right down to the comments section, find that pinned comment, and give your answer to today's question. Number 3 on my list, Mitchell Trubisky, and this one is kind of obvious, guys. Right now, having $2.5 million in a dead cap hit if they cut him, but it's also another $8 million in savings if they cut him, and really that kind of savings is just too much to pass up, I think, for somebody that's going to be a backup quarterback, right? You don't want to be paying your quarterback over $10 million. I think it's like $10.75 million if the Steelers decide to keep him. And right now, Kenny Pickett is the future. He is the QB1. I think the Steelers can probably go out in free agency and get a different backup that's much less expensive than Mitch. You have to deal with that $2.5 million in dead cap, but I think that $8 million in cap savings is going to be huge for the Steelers in free agency this year. And letting go of Trubisky is a no-brainer, in my opinion, for those reasons. You get a really good cap, you get a really good amount of cap back, and you don't have to give up that much in dead cap to get rid of him. Right now, Kenny Pickett is the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It has nothing to do with Mitchell Trubisky. You can tell that the people in the locker room just don't really love Mitch Trubisky right now. I think that they wouldn't mind to see him go. So for those reasons, I think he's gone, and I think it is a no-brainer. You know what else is a no-brainer? Rocket Money, our sponsor here at Steelers Talk. Once I started using Rocket Money, guys, I have been starting to save hundreds of dollars a month. I'm somebody that, if there's a subscription that I pay for, I think I'm going to use it all the time, but then a year or 2 years pass, and I'm never using it again, all right? So this is Rocket Money. It's formerly known as Truebill, and the app shows you all of your subscriptions in one place and then cancels for you whatever you don't still want. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't even know you were paying for. You may even find out you've been double charged for a subscription. To cancel a subscription on Rocket Money, all you have to do is press cancel in the Rocket Money app, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest for you. Get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money now. Go to rocketmoney.com/Steelers Talk to help out the channel, but also save you guys a bunch of money. Like I said, I am saving a ton of money a month. It's really helping me with my Christmas shopping this year. And then also, inflation is hard on everybody's pocketbook. Help yourself out a little bit by go to rocketmoney.com/Steelers Talk to help out the channel, but also help out your financial situation. Number 4 on my list for today's video is Levi Wallace, cornerback, another guy that the Steelers just picked up this last offseason, right? And, he signed from the Bills, very zone-heavy scheme, comes to the Steelers, and Terrell Austin decides, with Brian Flores' influence, to start running more man concepts. And it just isn't his game. He's not panning out right now. He's the 85th highest graded cornerback in the National Football League. And, it's not that much of a dead cap penalty, only $1.5 million, but the Steelers get $4 million in savings back if they cut him. So in my opinion, this completely depends on what the defensive vision is moving forward. If they're going to go back to what Mike Tomlin has run in the past usually, which is more zone blitz, man match, stuff like that, I think Levi Wallace can fit in well and even possibly be a starter for the Steelers going into next season. But if Terrell Austin and this new defensive regime is going to stick on the path that they've started this year and go more man-heavy, Levi Wallace just isn't a man quarter. He doesn't have the fluidity for that. He doesn't have the matching ability. He's just not a man corner guy. So if we're running a man-heavy scheme, there's no reason to have Levi Wallace on the roster. Take the $4 million in extra cap savings. Now let's take a look at the depth chart here, where William Jackson III, you hope he pans out. Cameron Sutton, pretty good player there. Ahkello Witherspoon, he's coming up here in a little bit. But Levi Wallace, right now, if your defensive vision is to play more zone in the future and more man match schemes, go ahead and keep him on the roster. But if your defensive vision doesn't match his play style, just get rid of him. Take the $4 million extra cap savings and get somebody else that can do the job right. All right, guys, it is the Christmas season, which means that I'm in the spirit of giving. All right, and I want to give back to you guys because I appreciate the heck out of you, Steelers Nation. So if you want a chance to get a free Steelers jersey of your choice, so color, player, right? So all you got to do is go to Twitter and follow me on Twitter, @Jack_Sperry. Follow me on Twitter to automatically enter into a raffle, and I'm going to be announcing the winner on Christmas Day. So your days are running out, guys. Your opportunity to enter to win this free Steelers jersey is starting to run out, so don't wait. Go to Twitter right now. Go to @Jack_Sperry and give me a follow. All right, now number 5 on my list, Akello Witherspoon. And, Akello Witherspoon is somebody that I want to believe in. He's got great physical traits. I think that he's very long. He is fast. He's somebody that could be even a number 1 corner in the National Football League if he had the polish and technique, but he doesn't. He just doesn't. Just like Levi Wallace, it's going to be $1.5 million in dead cap. but you get $4 million in savings. Right now, he is the 116th highest graded cornerback in the National Football League with a grade of just 45.4. That is atrocious. When he has been on the field this year, he has been getting toasted. And, right now, it's just, he's been in the league for a while now, and you just keep waiting for those tools to pan out, and he just doesn't have the polish yet, and I'm starting to think that's never going to show up. So I think that it's best for the Steelers here to cut bait, let him loose, take that $4 million in extra cap savings, and like Wallace, same thing with Wallace, right? Get somebody that can do the job right, because Witherspoon just can't. And I just can't see him as a Pittsburgh Steeler moving forward, right? He's just had too many opportunities. He's not getting the job done. He's got the tools, but it just seems like the polish is not going to be there. So in my opinion, I can't see Witherspoon with the Steelers by next season. Next up on my list, Montravius Adams, the nose tackle. And we all know, guys, Steelers fans know that the Steelers need that run stuffer in the middle of the defensive line. And the reason why that they're saying that is because Montravius Adams and Tyson Alulu just haven't been cutting it this year. Plain and simple. You look at this guy, he's been in the defensive tackle rotation this season, and it's a good cap savings accumulation here, right? Less than $1 million in dead cap if you let him go, but you get $2.5 million in savings if you cut him. So I think it's really a no-brainer to let him go. He has been an awful graded PFF player this year, not great against the run whatsoever, and that's what you pay or you play a nose tackle for, right? To stop the damn run. Montravius Adams hasn't been doing that this year, so I think at the end of the day, you got to cut bait with him, get that $2.5 million in extra space. And just like Trubisky, I think Adams is an easy cut, right? You don't take on a lot of dead cap. You bring in some cap savings for your free agents, right? I think this is an easy one because Adams isn't helping your football team, and the $2.5 million in extra cap space can. All right, and I think plain simply, nose tackle is something that the Steelers can address in the draft or in free agency. For those of you that have watched the draft videos, know that I'm a big fan of Siaki Ika out of Baylor. That nose tackle, he is a mountain. I call him the Hawaiian Mountain for a reason. I would love to bring in a guy like that, but if they bring in someone in free agency that can get the job done as well, I'd be cool with that. All right, guys, we kind of have a debate going on in the office here this week, and I want to get your guys' opinion on it here. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie, right? We're in Christmas week here. It's coming up. Is Die Hard one of those movies that you reach for during the Christmas season? Type Y for yes or type N for no. I got to know your answer to this question. All right, two more names left, and they're kind of easy cut candidates in my opinion. Gunner Olszewski. You guys know I'm not a big Gunner guy, right? I don't think he's a good receiver. I think he's more of a gadget guy, and I'm just not a huge fan. It's less than $1 million in dead cap if you let him go. You get $2 million in cap savings, and you in your receiver room, I think is pretty decent right now, right? Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Calvin Austin III when he gets back next season. Pat Freiermuth is obviously an excellent receiving tight end, and Gunner Olszewski right now, it's like I don't even know why he plays. He doesn't run good routes. He doesn't play with good hands, right? He's not aggressive to the football. He's not a good receiver, an NFL level receiver. And if you're not using him in the special teams, like as a returner, like we're not doing right now, I don't understand why he has a spot on this team. You get $2 million in extra cap savings if you let him go. This one is a no-brainer to me. And then the other no-brainer here is Miles Killebrew. The safety here. Just like Olszewski, you get a pretty decent cap return if you let him go for very little penalty, right? Less than $1 million in a cap penalty if you let Miles Killebrew go. And then you get $2 million in extra cap savings when you let him go, which is, I think, a really good value for the Steelers. You need as much money as you can to go after these free agents that the Steelers are going to have to get after, and at the cornerback position, at the linebacker position, at nose tackle, at offensive tackle, right? The Steelers are probably going to be heavy buyers in the free agent market this year. That extra $2 million can go a long way. Miles Killebrew is not going to be a contributor for the Steelers moving forward, at least in my opinion. So I think that, it's his second season. He hasn't been a contributor to this point. He's a special teamer. He's just okay. But I think that $2 million in extra cap savings will do the team a lot more good. All right, so now we've gone through my entire list here. I don't know if the Steelers should cut everybody on this list. I don't know what the Steelers' plans are. But before here, like we said at the beginning of the show, $14.2 million in cap space before. And then if you go ahead and cut all of these players, it goes up to a whopping $51.7 million for the Steelers to use on free agents this offseason. And right now, if that's what the number was right now for the Steelers, they would be 6th in total cap space in the National Football League. Now, obviously, other teams are going to cut some players as well. So, but at the end of the day, I think this is a good number for the Steelers to go after some really solid vets and really start to build this team again into a playoff contender. I'm really excited to see what the Steelers can do, with Miles, getting rid of Myles Jack, Trubisky, seeing the players that they can bring in, maybe a left tackle, maybe a nose tackle, maybe another cornerback. I'm really excited to see what the Steelers can do. But name a free agent right now in the comments section that you want to see the Steelers sign this offseason. Maybe it's Isaiah Wynn, right? Maybe it's James Bradbury. Maybe it's somebody else. If there's a free agent that you want to see in black and gold next year, go in the comments section and let me know. All right, Yinzers, that's going to do it for today's show. I appreciate you, Steeler Nation, and until next time, peace.